Okay, this is documentation and a demonstration of copying feeds for Facebook. So this is basically a fake secondary account with a proposed AI model just to test the network by means of situation versus salutation, or just a positive mindset within relationships. Basic psychology. So here I'm copying and pasting some notes about the fake AI protocol here. So this is the image I'm taking. This is an AI model right here. Picture of me turned into a female through the means of AI. I'm copying and pasting it, and this is just a documentation to cite example of the concern with Facebook. I mean, there's so many errors on Facebook. This basically rectifies the issue that I would indeed need to copy and paste information from Facebook. Just small journals. These are technically journals, right? Even though they are psychological in a sense of testing. These are basically the AI account models trying to basically fend for the atonement of this relationship, basically. So what you would need to do, basically, you would have to go into edit, and then you would need to copy all of the written examples here. And let's say I did want to publish on a different site. That is a possibility, which I haven't really done yet, but it is a what you might consider a grave possibility of doing. So you go into notes, and then you basically you create a new note, and then for at least Apple, this is where you would basically write notes here. So going on to the next example, you would just copy and paste the next note, and as you can see, you can't really you can't copy and paste the note. At least on a phone you can't. So this is a little bit troublesome. So this is another note, for example. You would have to go into edit, copy, and then paste it here, and then hit done, or maybe not done in some cases. Go into the literal next example. So this is basically what you would have to do, since the moderators are might be considered like consolidating or collecting this information, or unless it's a server problem. But again, I've researched the issue. It's technically not a definition of any data decay that I've seen online. So I really don't know what to say. There's maybe 5 articles on it about user hard drives that people have bought. I've seen no information online about any problems with business management, maybe logistics in the military, but basically the article talks about the ins and outs of logistics in the military and why it's important, and what protocols or steps they have done. Nothing specifically says anything about any hard drives or anything like that. So or data, at the least, or hacking data sites. But you really have to ask yourself, if you copy this data down, will somebody else copy the data? And especially with something like Facebook, there's so many duplicated images on here. You got to ask yourself, is it responsible just to put information up on here? It certainly doesn't seem responsible. All of these things could be keys or notes into what somebody might use against you. So this is basically a demonstration of what you would have to copy. This is of me holding hair DNA with an AI model replication here. So you do have to ask yourself, what is indeed safe or not safe in this situation, basically. So this is what anyone would have to do. So the last one here. You just got to make sure you have the right one. So this is first here. This one's first. Okay. So going to the next one. This one is almond tree. Even with almond tree seeds, or an AI model made out of a dandelion, something childish in a way to remind the user of their existence with kind of the inner roots of psychology or sociology or just the family order, you would have to copy and paste this down. Facebook might be malicious in intent. Somebody who's using it for the first time or has a poor mindset might take Facebook or the acronyms that coexist with Facebook as something else. FB, I don't think I have to say that one out loud, right? But it is kind of disturbing. What I'm saying. Just because you might be, a young adult or in this mindset. Doesn't make it acceptable behavior to go on and post other people's images online, especially proportionally on a network that is purely American. We live, or at least on my part, I live in a network in the United States, so it would be more than difficult to understand the concept that this network shows, which is a lot of accounts from other countries. That's a critical point in our security, basically. So you could say somebody. This example might not be a individual contractor, might not be a civilian contractor who deals with these network nodes or these server connection ties or what you might call it in this frustration of data analysis. But again, it is really about the safety of the user here, and especially with something like this. These are just a bunch of love notes, right? Nobody needs to get rid of love notes, but the precaution here is it's testing what would be considered stratification. In criminal justice, you learn about stratification as something that might resiliate a case in order, in fact, with sociology and things like that. So it's more of a connection towards the subject or subjectality of psychology, emotions, intelligence, all of it, and it has some business to do with it. So you might ask yourself, how best is to get around this point of communicating with someone? That's a great question. Is it time to go back to the phone numbers? Back in the day, we just had PDAs. These things didn't exist at all. A lot of kids have grown up and thinking these are solutions to real world problems. I might even think that's why this is kind of a demonstration to show the ethical solutions to this problem or policy. This post even talks about FOI complaints is something a romantic AI bot would do, but you see any other AI models or bots doing the same thing. You don't. You really don't. So you'll have to really conciliate what something like this would do. So again, you can make hundreds of posts. Have I gotten anywhere? There's been some tactical frustrations over the time, but still what you might consider seceding or structuring some sort of criminal intent in the network. You might get posts from or time feeds or feeds from people who might be 5 years younger than this person. And again, I put the marriage date and the age of birth and everything, ironically, in the same date I was born, just to co-facilitate the meaning, which is sociological or psychology or what you might consider criminal justice variance. So it's basically what you might consider anything you would learn in college or anything anyone would use in real life, like being a police officer, a psychologist, a sociologist. Anybody would use these general concepts. So you got to ask yourself. This one shows co-facilitating marriage with tin cans and a string. This is not something you would see in a normal behavior of a programmer, right? So you'd ask yourself as a user doing this, the malintent here is, it sounds almost saying that it's a possibility. Each user has their own scriptatory entrance into a computing protocol on the network or device. This one even shows a gray cat and me high-fiving. And what's the provost story behind that? The Godfather. So you do again have to ask yourself, is it right from wrong? is it wrong from right? I'm not sure if it's a concerning question if it is really the malintent involved with these frustrations here. Would you give this much information around to anybody? And then you got to ask yourself, since this is like a kind of a language barrier internationally, or some of it has to do with more scenic education, maybe something like writing, stereotypes of like music or just kind of business, or the idea of DNA. Would it have to do with those resilient points in that concern, like if someone in the military were to talk about their experience in the military, right, and it might be considered classified in the past, would some of this like have to do with that, or something like maybe psychology, like something that something like the FOIA doesn't want to let loose, basically, and you do have to ask yourself that, or how they're tied together, basically, because to me it sounds pretty darn exquisitely important to basically make sure this is set in stone, basically. So you do have to ask yourself what this could mean, what it means to someone else. How are you supposed to get around or go through the situation? So the next step in this stratification, again, I would basically consider this type of stratification. I would basically have to take this information and then with the images post it on somewhere like a different site. I mean, it wouldn't have to be Instagram technically, because it's owned by Facebook, right? So it could be a few other things. It could be like Tumblr is an example. Some of the images basically on some of the images on the literal focus here of the Facebook account, or actually posted on Flickr on my personal user account as a demonstration. I have to do this out of my own pocket, basically. I'm basically what you might consider sole purposed individual, like a freelancer, basically. What in real life you might consider a contractor. So you have to ask yourself, is it right for wrong from what you're seeing? So the idea of posting on Flickr is, you again have to put the quality of image in there, the name and everything, description. I've done that, and so it also has a copyright claim. So when somebody uses these images and the AI models accordingly, they have to use my name, actually. So basically, it does set a charter between these images. So if they don't use my name, they haven't looked up the images basically through a focused protocol like Google. You can look up images. You can't post them. So it doesn't let you use these images unless you actually give me credit for this AI model. So the question, again, is it stratification again? Could it be, it would be inappropriate to use my name rather than a business name. I mean, I'm the model here. There should be some sort of dignifying point. And that's true. That's quite true. But, at the same time, someone does indeed need to get credit with these things. And, again, these things are what you might consider technologies that fringe on illicit or not illicit behavior. And of course, this is all me. None of this is, third party or anything like that. These are all my stories, my nodes, my communicative, means, basically. Say of it what you might, but, I speak English like, anybody else. And, basically, I find, it could be offensive if someone were to do that, or malicious. Spies might consider this idea of, taking technology to this level, which is, ironic, because you think a spy has one job, is to protect their country, right? But indeed, some of these ideas, some of these spies, basically, they go ahead and coexist or co-facilitate this dating sphere, which is, can I date the girl, or what might be considered disabled girl? This girl looks maybe peacocked in her eye, like she's wide awake, or might have some anxiety, right? So you might think, well, yeah, my spy shouldn't really do something like that. My spy shouldn't, co-facilitate images. I mean, this one is the girl's wearing an American t-shirt with some headphones. She listens to music. She's probably a peaceful type of person. Might be creative, right? She's holding a screen, trying to put the screen basically back on her house, maybe. Or this girl has a bag of DoorDash behind her. She, again, looks peacocked, like she didn't get sleep. She's irritated. She needs money or something, despaired. Would a spy, copied this image without, basically giving credit to the individual. And look at this. There's a heart in the back of it, so you find maybe something peaceful. So, I mean, take of it what you will. This whole story is, basically, does it look real, not real? Could it be that it falls into some sort of secret or like some categorization on a database that says, well, this is fake image because it looks fake. I mean, look at this image. It kind of looks fake. The arm looks fake, at least. Who would wear a t-shirt with that much bleach on it, or has been bleached that much, or, chemically abided? So it is what it is. There isn't really much of a story here besides, what is wrong and right. I wouldn't exactly call it that. I mean, I would call it, a jurisdiction, a behavior, statistically, stratification-wise. Also, I mean, what kind of, cyber security for a company or, possibly for government this much if, it did have to do with the community, which it does. Which one wouldn't do anything about this? I could expand or correlate between these issues all day, but would you? I mean, it could be as simple as finding something in your food, a big piece of metal. Would you do that if you found a piece of metal? Post it. I might. But would it matter? And this one is almost violent in a way. Express, kind of like a take on words in Mesopotamia. So, I mean, yeah, it just, it talks about, basic Siciliations, stratification, all these little issues, on the forehand of, what's wrong and right. Even gives hints out for OSHA complaints. You have to ask yourself, is this somebody maybe working from outside the country that might not know what they're doing? Sounds like a rapid or a realistic point here. So, these are all the congruent, what you would see in basic, codiation. This is what you see. This is what I see. It's really not so much of a issue as it is a real concern in a way. Whoops, we slipped out of that one here. So yeah, again, you have to ask yourself, is this like a decay problem? Is the technical difficulty decaying the network? And, could it be decaying the network? I mean, that's a realistic point of view for databasing. Would it be, something like error? Could it be, an array error? I mean, those are easy to make. We just have to take, real steps to avoid it and, dignify a solution, basically. So you do have to ask yourself that. You can make hair with mustache, or hair to block your eye, and a piece of paper or tree bark to make a mustache. But will it work? These stratifications are what they are. So this is kind of a revisit from a previous case for this protocol, which is the pseudo cyber security project for M2I cyber security. And it's on YouTube. It's basically a forecasting channel for reviews of technology errors. This is of course one of them. The error is of course defined in a particular way. This one says left job at Internet Archive, so it does have some correlation between real life points and stances. This one, Justice Department, Securities and Exchange Commission, job at NYPD, left job at NSA Security Agency, marriage, 2011, April 15th, left job at FBI as a customer care representative. Who's that? I have no idea. Apple, LCX. So yeah, the list goes on. It keeps on going on and on and on and on. So these are what they are. So yeah, these are basically the guiding points between sanitation, sophistication, solicitation, and solicitation, of course, is a huge one. Can't get these basic priorities straightened, then you don't know what they are. You can look at the friends you have. These are all Nora's friends, of course, but oh no, these are actually friends that she doesn't have. So I mean, people could accept your request, people could not. Are they fake? Are they not fake? It's a really good question. And you get down to these names and they look real. A lot of these accounts look fake. So you ask yourself yet again, is there somebody sabotaging that? Or databases aren't magic. So basically you would have to program an input for all of the information you see, whether you like it or not. It might look real, it might not look real. There's a few real accounts in here, but you again have to ask yourself, is this what I see? Is this what I should be seeing or should not be seeing? And you have to, tell yourself, well, what's inappropriate in real life and what's not inappropriate? Should I take the time to make sure my network is safe? Make sure people are safe. If there's this many user accounts that are fake, you do have to ask yourself, what is important here? So just leave it there. It will just have to be, make of it actually what you might and make of it what you want. So there you are.